Welcome back to the shop. I'm Jeff from Today's Craftsman, and we're coming to you this week with 5 woodworking tips. This is not a complete list. I'm sure we'll have some more for you, but these are 5 great tips that you'll use in your shop. So we have 2 examples here for this first tip. This is how to find measurements without doing math. So let's say you're building a face frame and you have an extended style at 2 1/4 inches wide, and you have your regular style at 1.5 inches. And you need to build a face frame that's, say, 24 inches wide. Rather than measuring these individually and adding it up and then doing subtraction, what you can do here is take your pieces, hold them together, and hold your finished dimension on the outside here. So we're going to hold 24 inches, and we're going to look at the other side of the tape measure, and we have 20 1/4. So this is a pretty simple example. We have very round numbers, but you may be in the 32nds or in the 64ths. And by using your tape measure, you can easily see what that dimension will be, and you don't have to worry about messing up the math. Another time that we really use this a lot would be with plywood. So here we have 2 pieces of nominal 3/4 inch plywood. So this doesn't actually measure a full 3/4 of an inch. And same example, so let's say we want to build a cabinet that's 24 inches wide. We can take our tape, lay it here at 24, and look on the other side. We have 24 and 9/16. We're just a little shy of 9/16. So measuring something small like this when it's not on a round dimension is a little tough. So by adding them together and just subtracting them, basically that's what we're doing, is we're subtracting them from the finished dimension. You can easily find what that piece needs to be. This next tip is pretty popular, used by famous woodworkers Norm Abrams and John Peters. So in the shop we're doing a lot of screwing and nailing of 3/4 material. So a quick way to mark that is actually to put your finger here and grab your pencil. I find the middle veneer right there. I roll the board over. I have a perfect 3/8 inch offset, so when I'm screwing into another piece of 3/4, I'm hitting dead center. Next tip is a finishing tip. So we keep these around the shop. These are little painting triangles. So these are great for painting and drying your projects. We can lay these out. Take something like this door that's very open. You see you can move these anywhere you need to support your piece when you're spraying it, or you can move it off and put it down to let it dry. Here's a tip for you with clamps. So I needed to fill some holes in these doors, and obviously I don't want them laying down like this because I'm going to have wet putty on my table. So you can take any squeeze clamp, clamp it to the side. Now it stays up on its own. So here's a tip for cutting either rough lumber or dimensional lumber like 2x8s, 2x10s. I'm going to try and recreate the issue here for you and then show you how to prevent that from happening. So when you're cutting something like this and it has a bow to it, the saw can actually buck or kick back when you try and come through the cut. So let's see if we can make that happen. So it didn't happen, but you could see there at the end how unstable the cut was, and it really wanted to kick back. So I'll show you how to prevent that from happening. First, you want to plunge your saw straight down and make a cut here up against the fence. So what we've done is we've alleviated that pinch point. So now you can see how much smoother of a cut that was. Last tip for you here at the table saw. If you're like us, you have wooden throat plates on your table saw, and when you're changing your blade, rather than using 2 wrenches, you can just use 1 and your throat plate. So here, to loosen the blade, I'll get my wrench on there. I'm going to stick this throat plate up against the teeth of the blade and loosen the nut. So you see your nuts, oh, not quite loose. All right, now it's loose. And same thing to tighten it. So see, we'll get it finger tight. We're gonna stick the throat plate down here on the far side of the blade. Tighten it up, doesn't need to be super tight. And that cuts your chances in half of dropping the wrench into the saw. So, hope you like these tips. If you want to see more videos like this, let us know. Be sure to leave a comment down there, and we'll see you next week. So we have another tape measure tip for you. If you want to find the center of a piece, what you can do is hook your tape and come across the other side to just a round number, so 20. We're going to find divide that in half, would be 10. First you need to hold your tape steady. 20. Mark 10. And this is the center of your board. Maybe not quite.
Let's shoot that one again.
That's like, it's super slippery.
Maybe go like 16 and divide it in half there, and it'll be 8.
Oh yeah, so the angle is not so steep. Maybe 14 inches.
There you go, 14 inches.
Our next tip is another tape measure tip. So I have a piece of plywood here, and I want to find the center of this board. Rather than, again, measuring and doing the math, we can hook one side and bring our other side to an even number, like 14, which is easily divisible, to 7. Can mark 7, and this is the dead center of this piece of plywood.
You want to test it?
I'm afraid. It's off again.
Wait.
This tip is bullshit. I think it's moving. I'll just do the math. 6 5/16.
No, go ahead and do it. Pull it, and just don't hit it with your hand. Go to 14, and then put that mark right at 7. Now test it. It worked.
Yeah, it's off by a little bit.
Is it really? I
Yeah.
can't see it from there.
It's off by like about a 16th. Jury's out. Try it for yourself.